Okay, thank you very much for the introduction and welcome everybody. Today, another webinar we have. We're gonna check. Let me start sharing my screen first. The general journals, information, finance, accounting, and how to post transactions. So, once again, welcome. My name is Hugo Manoy. I'm a business central consultant here in Optimus, and I do the webinars on a weekly basis. So let's open now Business Central. Here is right. Every time we actually have a company, this is my demo company. We are gonna immediately see the information about general journals. And these menus, right? You can see that I have a chart of account, bank of accounts, customers, well, everything related to well, some of the activities that I will be doing. So the thing is that in Business Central, we have a role for an accountant. And there are other type of roles like accounting manager, business manager, right? Project manager, and so forth. So we have different available roles that are actually the screen that you see at the face of Business Central and the operations that you can do, correct? So that's how I'm getting these menus as an example. So now, what I will be showing today is how to process then the general journals. And well, here we are going to be able to open a general journal where we are going to be able to post our expenses, pay the rent, do different type of transactions, right? And we can, by the way, create one journal for every person that works. And why are we doing this? We call them batches, okay? But it's actually personalized journals that you can set up for yourself. For instance, I'm going to create a new one that I'm going to use, let's say, for the demo, okay? So I'm going to input transactions where I'm going to operate, let's say, with, if you want, a bank account that will be my offsetting account because I'm going to be paying, I don't know, expenditures. So this will be the worldwide bank, okay? So this is a pre-configuration that I'm doing. So whenever I open my journal, I'm going to fill in one side of my, let's say the debits and the credits will be going to checking account, which is an asset account in the liquid asset part, let's say, right? The banks. Just as an example, but if you don't want to pre-configure anything, just leave it alone. It's not a problem. As well, we can say, and that's why we have a different type of batches or journals that we're going to use, okay? Because we can somehow, excuse me, configure any given information. And as well, if you want, what you can do is just configure a new number. For instance, this is the number that I will be registering in my GL accounts. Let me see. It's called as number series general journal that starts, let's say, with G. So these are pre-configurations that you could optionally use because we can create a new number, by the way, that we can use to get, instead of this G, why not any other number? N, because I'm knowing, and that's it, right? So it's plausible to create a number series. So the idea here is that these configurations can be done. For instance, I have a general journal, a number for Noe. Okay, I can see it. What do you want? Do you want a G or a Noe in your numbers? So when you see your transactions behind the scene in your GL, well, you get a special number for you if you need it. So that's why these pre-configurations are used. So whenever you want, we can start creating then our journals, okay? General batches. So let me just go back. Once we have this, then I go to the general journal option to open my journal. But now you just need to ask, well, which journal you're going to use, because I can see that one is for paying the rent, even interesting. Another one for Diana, Hector, and today the demo. Okay, why we have different? Well, because we might do different operations, okay? So some accountants will be paying or moving the adjustments, which will be the controllers. We can create one only for adjustments, let's say, right? So I'm going to open the demo journal and let's see how we can process information. Let's just do one very basic type of process. So when I open my general journal window, First of all, you're going to see the date because this is going to be registered in your GL as well, part of the string of this transaction. And remember, the G that I was talking about is here. All right. So why we just don't think about making a transaction? We have the option to select a GL account, okay, by default in our general journals, but there are other options, okay, here that relate to customer, are we paying to a vendor or something? But in this case, let's just go for select and check my journal. So once I have this, why not to, let's say, select a petty cash account or savings account? It's up to you. Okay, I'm going to select the petty cash account because I do a payment. So the first thing we just need to do is look for the account type and account number of one of the sides. Every time that we do a general journal, we need a debit and a credit. So the other part will be here, balance accounting type, okay? That's the other GL account that we are going to use as offset account, where I'm going to select another GL account, let's say, instead of a bank account, and I'm going to pay here another expenditure. I know that my expenses accounts start with 6. Look at the notation that I have, okay? The balancing account is a offsetting account, sorry, I'm going to use it to select, well, which expenditure, let's say I'm going to pay advertising expenses, okay? And here you have now to input your amount, let's say, okay? So that would be the idea. You have one, I'm selecting the petty cash account that I'm going to use to pay some miscellaneous expenses, right? And that will be it. So everything is in one line. Let me just pay 100. Okay. So let's say I have one account on one side and look at how everything this is quite strange, right? So the petty cash, sorry, this will be negative. I want to credit my account. Okay. So, and this is strange. Why negative? If we are accountants, why you use this type of designing your software, right? This could be a good question. And yeah, everything is in one single line. The account, which is a petty cash, the amount, and the offsetting account, which is this expenditures account. So everything is balanced. The idea is that you here below, you see your total balance. So for now, this is a, believe it or not, balance. Okay. So you might be telling me, and we can just, for instance, post it, okay? The design about the positive or negatives, okay? This is not the only way we can actually work. So let's say that let's choose another design because some accountants ask me a lot this. You know, Noe, I liked it, but I have got to tell you something. I would like to better use my, let me see, my journal in a way that I can use debit and credit information. For instance, if that's better for you, right? That will be another option that we can actually have. And in this option that we could, that we call page, then we have the option that is called show fewer columns. What it does is change the design and the columns of this journal in order to use the following information that we use as debit and credits. I'm going to do the same operation. I use the one that was quite simple, maybe, sorry, petty cash, right? And very well, what is the debit amount? Okay, these two columns, debit and credit. It's up to you how you want to work. Actually, these don't require any other sign. And in the second line, this will be, let's say, the classical, I'm going to select another GL account, which will be the rent this time. And then you need to use, well, debit and credit columns. And this is when you're going to see that you are balanced, okay? Sorry, this will be all the way around. And let's see if I change from debit to credit to make a simple correction, okay? The idea here is that I just need to, well, use now these columns and verify. Okay, what if I just credit and debit? Well, I need to verify that every time that I include multiple lines down, okay, I will be adding more and more and more. right? And you just have the option to check here your balance, your total debits and your total credits, okay? And how many lines you have in your journal. So you get the idea. Here we have two types of design for a simple general journal. If you want to use debit or credit amounts, or if you want to use positive and negative sign, but just having to create one single line, which is as well sometimes possible. It's just the design. You can, once you get some practice, well, decide which one is better for you. And as well, I'm going to be able then to post it. But in this second part that I'm just working, I wanted to explain something about what we call the dimensions, okay? So the dimension is the following. I'm going to click on the idea that if I'm doing expenditures, I need sometimes some reports. So for me as an accountant, I can design these options that are dimensions to slice and dice my, in this case, my expenditures, let's say. So I know that the rent is being paid with a petty cash or with any other given account, right? Through a general journal, but it's important to mention to which department, okay, which department is doing this expenditure, let's say. So this would be administration, okay? I have different departments in my company, like maintenance, production, okay? Think of your own information in your company. Would you like to have a report where you can slice, well, and add more information to your string, okay, to the string of different accounts that we have? So in this case, we have the dimension value codes are created for, in this case, the departments to have a logic. This is not mandatory, or we do not implement all our projects with different internal departments. It's actually up to you which information would be important for your own company, right? This is an example that is quite common. But as well, some other use business groups. Some of you might have two branches or sales channels, POS, wholesale, maybe, right? So give it to me. Let's talk about the idea of the business group reports, where I could generate, for instance, these have home, industrial, maintenance, office operations. They are completely different, maybe for different branches or purposes. That would be another idea of a dimension. What else? The area code, let's say somebody asked me for sales, I would then add information like this, all right? Geographical area separated by district and even totalized. Europe North total, which is Europe North EU, and Europe North non-EU countries. And then America North and South, and once again, the total, right? So these are dimensions. This can be used to add more information that is plausible for you to differentiate one transaction from the other, or to then later generate reports, but we do not always care about the simple GL account number. Instead, this helps us. So if I don't have the departments a dimension, I would need to create more GL accounts, one for each department, one expenditures account from administration, one for maintenance, one for production, and so forth. Very good. So in this case, once I have my dimensions, I don't have to create more GL accounts. I have just a single window behind my general journal when I can actually select which dimension I want. In this case, well, I'm going to generate expenditures reports, and then I want to see which department have actually, purchased more, let's say, or paid more. So that would be it about the dimensions. And here you can see the idea, right? So if I then want to just post, I have another option that we call the preview posting. So I have my journal here with my dimension, and I would like to see before or in advance any transaction happens in the reality, because I haven't registered or posted my transaction. So you can see it in advance. Maybe you might have taxes. If they exist, you are going to find them here, okay? And other related entries. Maybe you have currencies, exchange rates to then transfer some of your entries with local currency or things like that. So in this case, this will be the entry, quite simple, right? Just two simple GL accounts, debit and credit, and then, of course, the amounts. So quite simple, but imagine that this has hundreds of lines or something. Well, I would like to see the results in my preview to be super sure about the idea of what I will be posting. Okay, as well, I have the hierarchical view because behind the scene, uh, every transaction that I will be posting, right? I might have as well a, oh, let me close this, sorry. There you go. I might have to view, well, basically the expense that I have. And if you have indentation, well, you can see it as well here of your GLs. I'm going to explain a moment the concept. Okay, just in case about the indentation. Okay, so that's the general journal, and I'm just going to post it. And with that, after being super sure what we want, we can just review, print a test report if you need it. This is just simple general journal, right? So nothing complicated, only 2 lines, and it's just showing the report that we have here. So the general journal, well, can be printed to show you in the end, well, what will be the change. This gives us another additional value. So this will be even my balance after I post. I haven't even registered, right? This is just, and remember here, the name of this report is the test report. So I'm checking this. I want to verify after my post, this is in US dollars, this is the net change of the actual account and the balance after posting, correct? So we need to verify sometimes all of this before even posting, just showing the information. And I forgot to show the dimensions just in case. Okay, where if I just take a look at my register that I will be posting right now, what I have here is the account, my expenses for rent, but is coming this payment, well, part of the administration department. So the administration department, the accountants, director, they are paying for their rent. So that's what we are saying here. Okay, cool. So nothing else. Then with this, we are going to be able to just post it and we finalize with that. But before we move, before we just actually create other lines or other journals, we have, of course, option to make corrections, to delete lines. So we just need actually to click, how do we delete if I committed a mistake? This was not the actual GL account. We can just change it, of course. Instead of being the expense, maybe it was just advertising, or we just can immediately delete the line. Okay, you can do so, it's not going to be a problem. Or you can select to delete a full list of lines. Okay, just select, well, with these small circles, select more. Automatically selected the line that I have requested, but if I need more, I can select more GL accounts. Okay, so that's it. And this could be used to delete or to change or to copy paste, let's say. So I'm just going to post now this transaction. Very nice. And once that is done, I want to check my results, of course, right? So I'm going to now go to the chart of accounts, and I want to see how then it was posted. I'm going to now go to the rent GL account. And here I have got the total balance of this account only. And here you're going to be able to see, well, that I have done 2 journals, the number 6 and the number 7. So that's the idea of the, do you remember the batches? Before doing our exercise, we created our own batch where we could insert the number of the journal that we desire. And here is the number G, the date, and well, just basically, if you need, you can just check all the other entries, additional entries for this actual account. And I can see some rounding differences as an example, and others here, right? So that's it. Take a look at your numbers. You now can filter by number. You can, if for instance, I see another wrong number that somebody's using just to differentiate, and they are paying the rent, of course, okay, with another number. That's good. It's up to you how you want to manage it, right? But if you want as well, the idea every time we have, for instance, issues, right? And you can check what are the entries that I posted against this, with which account did you post it into this rent expense? Well, once we are into the GL account historical data, we can find the entries of every transaction. There is this option, what is actually checking the journal, and how all the entries that I posted through this simple line, there might be more. There could be in this journal other 10 other lines that somebody is actually just posting. Let me see, this is having a delay. But the idea is that, well, you can once again, but now from your historical data that you have already registered, well, just simply the information, right, of the actual journal. So let me just verify. Let me update this. It's taking me a little. Okay. Very nice. The software is a little bit slow today. Let me try to do it once again. Define intersection. Let's see if it works. I'm sorry because this is my demo. Now it has like a, let me cancel it. Okay, there you go. It opened. Find entries finally. Okay, the GL entry related to one of the lines, it actually has two different entries. So once you see it, the journal is exactly the journal that you posted. It's once again here, okay? Because you can see that I pay the rent with my petty cash. The amount, well, is here, 100. But anyway, sometimes we need to change it. Hey, no, you know, the amounts or the GL accounts were okay, but I had an issue. I need to correct my dimension. It was not the administration department. Oh, I don't have permission. Sorry for that. And then you can change it. You can change it, by the way. So the thing here is that as well, we can correct our dimensions or reverse transactions. Let me try to reverse it by capable of doing so. Good. And here is one of the corrections that might be done all the time, right? So in this case, if we want to make a correction, if we need to then just change this one, I would need just to reverse it, okay? We are now talking about historical data that we need to review, change the dimension or reverse the transaction so you can actually verify everything, right? And then I'm going to click on reverse. And this is telling me to reverse these entries, correcting entries will be posted. So if I posted a debit, for instance, or a credit for any given account, I'm going to post with the opposite debit or credit or sign, okay? One positive, one negative, as you already know. So we do not delete information in the Business Central system. We just correct it. The corrections will be there because somebody else will be checking later what is going on. And in this case, let's say I want to reverse the total transaction. I'm just going to click on yes. This was not correct. Then I will need to post again, well, this transaction, but you need to reverse it. So you don't, what you're going to see is not the deletion, but you're going to have then the zero effect on your GLs, okay? After reversing. The result will be here. Then we have first petty cash minus 100 and then petty cash 100, okay? Or in other words, we are now debiting our petty cash to make the correction. Nice. So I have now the entries that I posted against this simple journal that I actually just reversed. And then I have no more effect on this, okay? So I have reversed my transactions and now it's not going to be then any other effect. And it also reversed my petty cash account. So it will reverse to the two entries at the same time, correct? As we already saw. So that would be then an idea of the basic general journal. You need to select your accounts. Then you might need to go to your historical data. You can navigate to chart accounts and then just make any given correction. So that's quite standard, it's not complicated. And then we need to know more tools or more functionality in Business Central about the general journals. So once again, the general journal that I'm going to open, right? I can select another, for instance, and I'm going to show then in this time why then we have batches again. We already saw that we can select our own number. Let's just make another exercise. I want a special number for my a journal. In this case, these were the number series, but I'm going to create a new number series, right? So this will be for you to see how we create a number series. I'm going to click on new. or oh, sorry, select from the list, let's say. Let's see if it's slow. I believe that in Azure, our process is being run because it sometimes responds and some others doesn't. Okay, now it worked. Let's see. Okay. So due to the fact that it's delaying me and I need to continue with the demo. Well, here in our numbers here, let me see if I can select it and create a new one. So you can see how we create number series in Business Central. This will be good for you accountants if you want to have journals with your own numbers. I'm going to click on new. I'm going to create another number series called with the code demo. And this will be then for general journals in finance. Okay, fine. So in this case, I'm going to click on this number series. If you're going to allow to select the user to change it to be manual numbers or no, or always be the number that automatically the system gives me, and then we just need to select our series. What do you want? For instance, I want the demo. Okay, I want to start my number when I see the records with T and 0000. That will be the starting number. The start date will be today. Okay, so we are going to start using the starting number series. And optionally, if you want, we can have like let's say our ending number. Okay, so basic configurations for a number series that we are creating. As well, how will be the increments? Okay, 1 by 1 or 10 to or 10 by 10. Okay, so the idea here is that, well, if I have increments by 10, then I will be then checking here my D000 will be my first transaction, and then I'm going to move to D000 10, 200 20, 30, 40, and so forth. Okay, and that's fine. That's fine. So that will be what I want. This is the number series that I have created, right? And then if the system allows me, I just would need to configure this number series in this section. Okay, so now I'm going to get the numbers that I want every time that I create a journal. Okay, so let's do it again. In this case, I have selected my own number, and then the general journal will be once again here, and select the demo general batch. Well, in order to then create, now here you can see the demo batch name. Okay, and let me just go back to the previous design here. Well, I'm working with the debit and credit design, especially for accountants. Okay, and as well, a Business Central design has this other design where we work with positive or negative sign. Let me show you. Oh, why is not here the document number? Something is going on with the system. This will be the number D0000. Okay, so in this case, GL account numbers. Once again, I'm going to run the same. Okay, petty cash. And in the same line, instead of using then just debit and credit, I'm going to, in the same line with this design, just select the actual expenses account that I will be using again. This is the account, sorry, this is a GL account. Fine. And now we got it. Okay, so what else could be good? The advertising. I saw that one ago. Okay, so this will be the account that I will be using for now. Okay, and this time I'm going to pay to on-red. So the general journal is here, and you could continue filling the lines. I just wanted to mention sometimes what is the currency as well. I have to pay the rent. I don't know to who I'm going to be paying, but you can change the currency code. Okay, this is not a special bet or anything, but the transaction will require another currency. In this case, I'm going to select, let's say, euro. Okay, and what happened here with the currency code? Well, it's basically that important to mention. Business Central is a multi-currency environment. It's a currency. So I will be checking the euro exchange rate that we have today, which is this one against the dollar, by the way. So the euro against the dollar has this exchange rate for today. For every given dollar exchange rate amount, well, we are going to receive this amount in euros. Sorry, for every euro, we're going to receive this amount in dollars, just as an example. Okay, so that's what happened, and we have two type of amounts in every GL account: the local currency, and of course, we have then the foreign currency, in this case, euros that I'm using. So we get the values right into type of amounts, local and external currency. In this case, right, we are going to have euro, okay, 200,000. So as well, if when I check this transaction, I'm going to see in my GL account this value in local currency, which is 199. Okay, so we have then the two values. We have the exchange rate in our own GL, in our own line, because then we need to continue creating more and more lines, okay? So nothing else. What I'll do is just create the second line and look at how it changes the number, okay? This could be another journal, and that's why in Business Central, right, they have decided to use this specific design that uses positive, negative numbers, and where we configure everything in one single line. So I'm adding another transaction, another line, and I'm going to pay some interests. Okay, miscellaneous expenses I'm paying today. And in this case, this will be local currency, okay? And when we talk about local currency, we see that the both amounts that I have actually are just the same. Why are they here different? Because this is then foreign currency, and this is the amount in local currency. That's why they are different. Now, that's good. It's good to know, and I forgot to mention about the currencies, so you can create them. Okay, we help you to sometimes to do so, because we will need some GL accounts where if we use currencies, we are going to surely going to have running issues, okay, with the time, especially if we work with multiple lines of transactions and amounts are big. Take care. So we work with a one rounding precision, a number of decimals that you can tell us how many you want to use, and of course, for every currency, we are going to have realized gains and realized losses at the end of every month, right? And here I got the exchange rate, okay? So I have Canadian dollar, euro, Mexican peso, and here the exchange rate. So how then I got this done? Well, because I'm going to use it in my journals, well, I have an exchange rate service, okay? In this case, I'm online and it's being updated in real time, let's say, okay? But as well, your accountants can select or if you are doing so, you can select your own exchange rate, let's say, for the end of the month. So the idea here is that, well, with the currency functionality, and let's say that this is a journal that I use a lot. Okay, only these two lines. I don't know, this could be a special transaction that I quite often do. Okay, but the idea here is that I have a way, let's see where is the option, to save my information for a later moment. Or a transaction that are oftenly used. I don't want to restructure my journal every time that I actually work. I don't want to have to, I want to save some time, let's say. And here in actions, I have the option to save it. Okay, let me see if it's, I forget where it is. Remember, get standard journals. Okay. Save as a standard journal. Okay, here is the option. Okay. Once I select the save as a standard journal, this is not really standard. It's just that it's quite complicated. It's just saving your information for a later moment, or if you use this type of structure of this journal that I have created today with multiple lines, right? Let's say that I created 100, 200. Well, then it will be quite difficult to do it again. So you can save it. And when I save it, just input the code or what will be the name of this actual journal that we are saving. The description will be demo. Okay, this could be rent, this could be miscellaneous, this could be, well, some payroll. If you are doing it, meanwhile, if you only have finance, the module, well, you can create your payroll, let's say all the GL account expenditures, descriptions of your people. What else could be done that way? If you will be in the end allocating among, let's say, different one expenditure that I will be paying the rent, but against multiple departments, as we already have, well, that will be quite complicated to do. If you want to allocate, that's possible as well. Okay, so save it. Save it. Once we have this, I'm going to click OK. And this has just saved my journal. Okay, so that's fine. So let's say that if let me just delete for the demo. And here you can select any line that you want to delete. Okay, and here we have the option to delete your journal. So the idea is that you can delete all the lines. Only what shows in front of you will be posted. Whatever you delete, then it's going to be gone, and you can get rid of that information. Okay, like I'm doing just right now. This journal was not okay. Okay, only these two lines actually, because there's no way this journal could be, you know, failing, but you need to check your transactions if you are on balance, very important. If you are using the correct accounts, strongly recommend to take a look at that. Okay, but now in this case, if I want to then bring my information, let's click on Get Standard Journals. So I have no demo. Let me just delete this one. I created this one, the demo that I had today. If I click on this, then it's going to just basically import or recall the same information that I structured before, with even the amounts if you want it, and then you're gonna get the same result. It's just that I always use this so-called standard journal. Is something that you use frequently. You don't want to restructure or to create twice, then you save it and you can recall it at any given moment for you to actually just finalizing posting this transaction. That's fine. By the way, the document number needs to be filled. Oh, it's good because now we can see another type of exercise. Just to finalize this part, I'm going to create even a second line, copy of this ones, right? And basically create one last line very fast. Bill account. Very good. Okay, let's talk about now how to structure this journal. I have only 3 lines, paying with petty cash any given expense, but it's up to you if you think that you might need to consider this as one single journal, that's fine. Use it, okay? So let's say that I'm going to use demo 0000. This is a document number that Business Central is going to use to balance your accounts. So if I attach in the document number column the same number for the 3 lines, Business Central understand, because we are accountants, hey, the same document number or the same journal, every line that has demo 0001 is one journal, okay? And what happened? By the way, we can copy paste. You see? By just as a bonus of this webinar, I have actually created 6 lines because I just click on Control-C. You can see then that I'm copying, and then you can click on Control-V, paste, okay, and insert more lines like I've just done. In the same way, we can actually, because we need to have some tools, okay? I will copy these ones. Take a look at the center of my screen. I'm actually using Control-C function, and it's telling me I have already copied this in your clipboard. So don't worry if you, for instance, need to use Excel, okay, and to make corrections, we can just do so, okay? Let's just open it and use Control-V, and now you have the same a format, right, in a, well, in your Excel, just using Control C, Control V. Here I can use, I like more Excel because I could use, I don't know, the drag and drop functions. Let's say that we have more accounts or more lines to fill, drag and drop, copy paste, and then you just click on Control C, right, like this. And then we are going to be able to do exactly what I did. If I click on Control V, I'm going to paste more information like I have just currently here. But I'm talking about the document number now. I just use the deletion and the Control V, Control C functions to see how everything is integrated, okay? And as well, if you want, we can open my journal in Excel, okay? If I click on Open in Excel, immediately it's just going to generate a file that I can just open that is going to sync live in real time, let's say, with Business Central, okay? And that's super cool as well. And you can even update information, okay? Once again, in Excel, right? So it's here, my journal, and here I have my information as well. Use Control C, Control V, and so forth, okay? So let me just come back. Save it. And then I'm just going to change, let's say, the document number for the last two lines, something that I wanted to explain very well. Okay, so here you see that we have demo 0000 for the 4 lines and demo one for the last 2 lines of my journal, general journal, right? And here it is. So if I just change this, the idea is that Business Central understand that you are posting 2 documents in the same journal. How is this happening? Well, because you only change the number, and when we use this, only the lines with demo 000 will be used to balance these documents. If I take a look at this, my first line, even I can select these 4 lines that currently have the demo 00 number, these ones, okay, and the balance for these lines is currently 0, okay? So we are just saying that we are going to now post 2 different document numbers. It's just that, and just we can just do so like this, and in the end, just post it. Now, why are we, before we complete this, I want to, sometimes it happens, I don't have time to post everything or to prepare one journal. Sometimes they require more information, or I don't have the full information today, or I don't have time. Don't worry, the information you don't have, you already have it here. So if I take a look at the Diana or Hector journals, we are going to see different information in each one. Every one of the batches that you create will carry their own information that they are posting, so they are independent, okay? And here I have come back to my demo journal with the information that I have used, and then just going to be able to post it at a, or continue editing at a later time. So it's not going to be an issue as long as you create what we recommend here. Let me just post it. Oh, it's asking me for a dimension. So another thing, some GL accounts are mandatory to select a department. Why are you having this expenditure? Okay, and this is account 6200. Okay, so you can accept the recommended action or hide fixed errors. It's up to you, right? Because they just appear, and this is going to just basically help you to find your own errors. Okay. So the idea of this information is that I'm going to have basically a review of Business Central is going to tell me you are not in balance, this GL account has this error, or this amount, you can post a debit or a credit into this GL account, and so forth, right? Because we might use it sometimes. So yeah, it's going to tell us if we have errors, and then in the end, we can just post it and complete my transaction. Okay, so here is just one of multiple exercises that I could do with general journal. Is just the basics, right, that we are learning today. So the general journal is just basically transactions, debit and credit. We can save our journals when it's quite large and often used multiple lines, maybe the rent you're paying on a monthly basis. Save it as a standard journal. You can reverse your transactions, use dimensions, and then you use your GLs according to your preferred processes. And remember, for every general journal, we have two types of layouts. The first one is with a use of positive or negative signs, right? Or the actual debit credit layout that we all the accountants will be using at any given point. So we can then just differentiate. It's actually going to work normally, both layouts. Is just that with one we just see a debit and credit because some accountants, well, we are used to actually work that way normally, okay? But it's not mandatory, okay? It's faster with positive and negative, and doing everything in one single line, and then use your document numbers just to differentiate when you want to post more than one single transaction, or multiple lines, or more than one document, right? In one single general journal. So that will be it for today. Thank you for your time, everybody. Here I'm going to, as every Wednesday, give you my email so you can write me, because my give my information. You can send me some requests if you want to see special webinars. And let me type. If you have questions, please let me know while I'm just typing my email if you want to contact me. I develop and I process all the different webinars that we have oftenly, and then we're going to be able then to generate, if you have purchase, project management, manufacturing, well, operations, LS retail. Would you like to see a POS working? Would you like to see what else? It's coming now, the some other functionalities with the new release. I might do a webinar with the newest releases of Business Central to see the new technology, while we continue with the basics like this with general journals, right? So this was, yeah, quite basic. If you have questions, just let me know. We are finishing now our webinar. Thank you for coming. And then, well, if you want to write me, contact me, tell me I want to see specific topics, I have questions, or can Business Central do this or that? Don't hesitate in contacting me, because I will be preparing then that info into my webinars to show you, well, any given question or request that you have. Okay, so thank you very much. My name is Noé. Thank you for your time in this webinar. So have a nice day, a nice weekend, and then see you in our next webinar.